Hello, my name is Elias Hariri, and today I'm going to talk about the kafala system in Lebanon. So, right now in Lebanon, there's around a quarter of a million people under a system where their employer can legally control their ability to stay in the country, not because they committed a crime, but because of the job they hold. For roughly 250,000 domestic workers, this is everyday life under the kafala system. This kafala system it's a sponsorship system that ties a migrant worker's legal residency to a single employer. Most workers are women from countries like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Philippines, Sierra Leone, who come to Lebanon to work as domestic helpers, caregivers, and cooks. Although the system was originally created to organize foreign labor, it has instead given employers extraordinary control over another person's life. So, because domestic workers are excluded from Lebanon's labor law, they lack many of the protections other employees receive. And according to organizations such as Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International, workers have faced unpaid wages, excessive working hours, passport confiscations, and restrictions on leaving abusive employers. One case, specifically documented by Human Rights Watch, involved a domestic worker from the Philippines who asked to return home after months of unpaid wages and impossible working conditions. And instead of being allowed to leave, her employer locked her in a room for 3 days. Uh, and under the kafala system, she could not simply resign because leaving her employer meant risking her legal status. This is not an isolated case. Human Rights Watch has reported that migrant domestic workers in Lebanon have died from unnatural causes, including suicide and injuries trying to escape their abusive employers. And it turns out that the average rate is about one death every week of a domestic worker. This is not simply a labor issue, it's a human rights issue. And to be fair, supporters of the kafala system argue that employers spent significant money recruiting workers and depend on them to care for children, elderly relatives, or family members with disabilities. They worry that workers could leave suddenly, causing financial loss and disrupting family life. These concerns are understandable, but protecting an employer's investment should never require taking away a worker's basic rights. A fair legal system can protect both the employer and the worker.
Okay, so Lebanon does not need to choose between the two. It needs to replace the kafala system with a modern labor system based on four reforms. Firstly, work permits should be managed by the government instead of individual employers. So a worker's legal status is not controlled by one individual. Second, domestic workers should receive the same legal protections as every other worker, including fair wages, reasonable working hours, paid leaves, a weekly day off, and access to legal protection. Third, workers should be able to change employers through a clear legal process, allowing them to escape abusive situations while still protecting employers through an organized transfer system. Finally, the law must be enforced through penalties for passport confiscation, proper investigations into abuse, and legal assistance for workers who need it. These reforms are not radical. Many countries already protect domestic workers while maintaining stable employment systems. Reforming kafala would protect vulnerable workers, strengthen the rule of law, reduce abuse, and improve Lebanon's international reputation. Most importantly, It would create a labor system built on fairness instead of dependency. No one should lose their freedom simply because they cross the border to earn a living. Protecting migrant workers does not weaken Lebanon, it instead strengthens it. Real justice begins when every worker, regardless of their nationality, is treated with dignity, freedom, and respect every human being deserves. This was Jamil Ramal and Elias Hariri. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.